How to practice public speaking online. Did you know you can do that anytime you want? It is such a gift. I like to think about it this way. Imagine Winston Churchill, one of my favorite speakers of all time. If he lived today, he would be so excited because he spent hours upon hours, hundreds of hours working on one speech. If he had the digital capacity right now to practice his speaking, he would be so happy. I hope that you're happy too. Let's talk about how you can do the same. Practicing public speaking online has been a game changer for me. There's a thing that you can press that says go live. And whether that's on Instagram or on LinkedIn or on YouTube, you choose. You can go live on Facebook. And if you just press that button, it's game on. Here we go. Practice your performance and do it consistently. These are some of the secrets we're going to talk about today. Let's talk first about the changing landscape of speaking, where it used to be and where it is now. So 10 years ago, people were not necessarily speaking online very much. It was only stage, in person, those types of events. Of course, through the last decade, we've had a lot of changes in technology that's allowed us to go online. The people that embraced that before the pandemic hit, they were way ahead of the curve. And so that's why I would encourage you, regardless of what's coming in the future, get used to being online. It is a fascinating place to be in terms of as a speaker. Communicating well through the camera is such an essential practice to our success. In fact, I've had to invest a lot of time and money just to figure out how to get even just better at this. And maybe you're watching me and thinking, oh, it just comes naturally. No, it does not. You should see some of the old videos. You'd be horrified. And guess what? That's part of the practice. And so when the pandemic hit, I lost all of my work that was on stage. But because I had some friends and people that had already converted to being online and doing virtual events, I noticed how it saved their careers. So I went about saving mine as well. I invested in the right cameras, the right equipment, all of the things we're going to talk about in just a little bit. But the power of being able to be good on stage, live and in person, and then being great on camera, where it's just one-on-one with you and I right now, this is a wonderful thing, and I hope that you'll put it into practice. So there's an advantage to practicing online all of these things, and I want you to think about the fact that if I had an event with people in front of me, it would usually only be a couple hundred or 1,000 people, right? But online, you can talk to people anywhere in the world. And so that's part of the fascinating part about it, is you can reach so many more people through your online presence. So let's talk about some of the tools of the trade. I mean, there are different platforms you can use. You know, you talk about Zoom or Google Meets or Microsoft Teams. There's all kinds of different ones. I prefer Zoom. In fact, I encourage all of my clients to use Zoom because I just feel that that platform has caught up with, as much as it possibly can, the ability for me to sing, to present my slides, to do all of the things that I need to do as a speaker. And now I'm going to share with you some tools that I use as well. What you also want to consider is getting some helpful software as well as hardware tools to help you with your online speaking to make it really seamless. You know, if you're a speaker on stage, you probably have a production team, people that help you. They're like, hey, where do you want you to put your mic, you know, or here's your slide deck, and then they plug it into the system. This is not happening for you in an online virtual speech. You are essentially your own producer unless you're willing to invest in a big production team like we have for this video for you. But what I want you to think about is some of the software that you could purchase that could help you in your speaking. One that I love is called OBS. OBS is still free. That's awesome. Ecamm is really good if you're on a Mac. And then I use StreamYard every time I go live on LinkedIn, and it actually connects me to Facebook, YouTube, all the other platforms that I need other than Instagram. They haven't figured that out yet. But StreamYard is very, very helpful. And this is how you can do pre-recorded sessions or live sessions. And doing those live streams, that's a real high wire act. That's a real live gig, so take it serious. Some of the hardware tools that I have would be an ATEM switcher. That actually allows me to switch between different camera angles, which I have around my office while I speak. I also have what's called a Stream Deck. The Stream Deck allows me to pre-program certain scenes or slides into my presentation, so then I'm not fuddling around, looking around underneath the camera and trying to find the share button. Instead, I just reach down, I click a button without looking down, and it pops up. It's pretty darn slick. I also have what's called a Rodecaster Pro Pro. These come from Australia, and Rode is one of my favorite equipment that you can buy as far as tools for doing recordings. Rodecaster Pro is like for podcasters. You have multiple microphone outputs. You have the inputs for your phone. You have the ability to do sound pads and other types of mixing. It's a mixing board in and of itself. You should check it out. Then you also want to invest in some headphones, the right microphones, the right camera, and the secret weapon of all, lighting. Unfortunately, a lot of people forget about lighting. They think, oh, I got the camera, I got the mic. Oh, poor lighting. Lighting is the secret weapon of all things when it comes to video. And when you're doing an online presentation, if your lighting is killer, people are going to be like, ooh, he knows what he's doing. And then there are the interactive tools that make an online speech really interesting. I don't know if you've checked out Mentimeter before, but M-E-N-T-I, meter, Mentimeter. This is an engagement tool with the audience where they can just enter in a number and they're then connected into what you've pre-planned, whether it's surveys, polls, things that they can add in. What I'd love to do, because we don't have Mentimeter set up right now on YouTube, and this is a pre-recorded video, this is the best way we can simulate this in this moment. I'd like for you to go into the comments, if you will. I'd like for you to put in the comments the best speaker you have seen online or virtually. I'd also like to see from you, if you will, just write in there, what were some of the ways that made it such a cool presentation? Was it all the different camera angles? Was it the way that they kept you engaged? Was it a Mentimeter or some other game show that they utilized? I would like for you to comment there, and I'm gonna also reply to your comment. Thanks for joining me. Let's do some more. You ready? Here we go. Here's some strategies for effective online presenting. First, I want you to do a chunking technique, which is where you're just going to speak a little bit, maybe for 3 to 5 minutes about one thing. And I want you to just practice that over and over again until you get really comfortable with saying it into the camera, and then press play or record and then go live. The next is instant feedback. And this is another cool thing what you can do with video recording yourself and just watching it back, or you can go on a Zoom call with someone and practice your speech and have them give you feedback. One of my favorite parts about being an online presenter is asking the client and saying, can we make sure, first of all, that everyone's camera's on, second of all, that the chat is open. The chat allows me to read the show within the show. This is what people are thinking while they're watching me. And sometimes they don't realize they're actually spilling the beans. So then I'll comment about their comment and we're having a conversation. It is so awesome. That's what I love about online, is that if I'm doing an online presentation and they tell me something they never would have in person, that's the beauty of online. I would also talk about peer review strategies as something very important. If you have any friends that are speakers, you want to watch their video, they want to watch yours. If you're willing to have that critique from somebody that you trust. My friend that I do this with, his name is Steven Shapiro. He is a master and he's a genius. He's actually the one that helped me put together the idea, the concept, and the framework of ICM process. I hope that while you check out stevenshapiro.com, because he's one of my best friends, you'll love his innovation talks. I hope you'll also check out what he and I created called the ICM process, which is identify, clarify, magnify. As you check out these things, you'll start to realize your own voice, your own style, so that when you present online, you'll be comfortable, you'll feel good about yourself, and you'll know that you can identify, clarify, and magnify your certain talents and gifts. And so here's some actionable takeaways for you. First of all, pick a platform that you like the best. Like I said, I like Zoom, but I also like for live stream, I like LinkedIn and StreamYard. So that's where I like to go when I'm live. If you want to join me there, that would be cool. Then I would join a community. The community I've joined is called NSA, the National Speakers Association. Go check out your chapter where you live. Then I want you to start small. Just try out a 5-minute presentation. This is intimidating enough, but you can do it. Get your slides ready, learn how to screen share, or invest in some of those tools I talked about, and I would love to know how it goes for you. You also need to embrace feedback. Some people are going to say some pretty harsh things for your first presentations, and even down the road they'll say some things, but you'll also get good feedback. Listen to the right people. Make sure that you're only listening to those you can trust. And number 5, press the button. My friend Brian Fanzo talks about this. You got to check Brian out. He is one of the best online I've ever seen. In fact, during the pandemic, he had this 360 camera angle in his room that was unbelievable, and it made it so interesting. He talks about the fact that we just are too scared to press the button. If you're willing to go live and press the button and do something uniquely as only you can, it will help you be so much more successful. Another guy you need to check out who's the master of online presenting, his name is Vin Zhang. Go check out Vin Zhang. He's in Australia, one of my dear friends. These are just cool resources resources for you to see what's possible. Just don't let it intimidate you from starting and pressing that button. And hey, you know what? You can go out and check out my website where you can actually get that assessment that's going to help you to identify, clarify, magnify your talents. If you want to go check out icmprocess.com, I know that that will help you in a great way. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I hope this video was helpful.